Sorry, I just wasn't sure if you were there because I just get up.
No problem. Welcome back to KOD League. Of course, I'm SP Revolution 5 for Truesight TV. Joining me is Llama. She's also joining you.
It's true.
But, yes, it works. As game number 1, Elite Wolves took it very convincingly up against Isurus Gaming.
A bit of an upset there. I think Isurus Gaming more heavily favored, the more well-known team, but Elite Wolves also nothing to joke about. And we have the immediate Earthshaker ban, right? That hero that caused so many problems for Isurus being banned out and was so well played by, was it Zenderlin or Jokes who was on that?
It was FTD Jokes, yeah.
Yeah. So, really nice play there. We also see the Gyro and the Doxia. Now, I imagine this will be Leshrac, unless Ewolves is really comfortable letting Isurus have the Leshrac. Of course, there's going to still be Wyvern in the pool, who didn't do as much for Isurus last game as I think they hoped. There'll still be Lina, and it's the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, they do ban that Bloodseeker that gave them so much trouble.
Really?
Time out. Yeah, they played it. So they were able to use so well, but Leshrac coming out from Isurus Gaming, you're gonna leave him in the pool. Isurus knows what's up. They're gonna take the Leshrac.
I think though they've also last game they first picked the Bloodseeker, so I think it's really just a case of they didn't want to have a super rough time with it, because it might speak to someone on Isurus playing it really well. But now Ewolves have a bunch of different options. They've got the Winter Wyvern, they've got the Lina Quap, and and the Storm Spirit. And there's just a lot of options here. They can also maybe think of picking up one of those carry heroes that's a bit prioritized this patch, but I think it's hard to pick a blind PL. I'm much more expecting the Wyvern or even maybe a Dazzle to come out. Especially after last game, maybe Ewolves wanting to show to Isurus Gaming how that Wyvern's actually done. So, not super sure. The other thing is, it might be nice. I'm trying to think of mids. All the other mids kind of suffer to Leshrac. Leshrac wins all of these mid matchups. At the worst, he trades. Usually, he can actually get a kill just because of how powerful Lightning Storm is with that slow. But I could see maybe trying to run something like a Silencer mid, although not maybe first pick worthy. But I really just expect it'll be the Lina and the Wyvern coming out as these first two picks. And it's the Spirit Breaker. He's a great hero for causing a lot of chaos, especially if you can get a charge through the entire enemy line. But maybe not one that you want so early. Although, if you don't pick him, he might get banned, so I can see that happening. And still the Wyvern in the pool. Not a whole lot of synergy between Spirit Breaker and Wyvern, beyond just kind of having a stun. But they are both powerful supports, and what's nice is they can roam and gank. They are heroes that the Wyvern can smoke up and doesn't even need to sometimes. She can get into really great positions with that Arctic Burn, slow people out who've been charged, and that should help them take down the Leshrac. They go with the Quap, and it's Isurus' turn to see what they want to pick up. I think Quap, if the Spirit Breaker comes to help her, I think they can take out the Leshrac, but it still is rough, because the range on the Lightning Spam is really big, and the Leshrac has just a lot of close AoE damage. So if the Quap makes one mistake with an aggressive blink in, you're gonna die, especially with the cooldown on that blink being so extreme at early levels.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty big, as I've made it back to us, and I'm a little bit surprised to see Ewolves losing a lot of their reserve time, or using a lot of their reserve time.
Yeah, so they were really thinking, I think because there was the Lina, the Storm Spirit, and the Winter Wyvern, and they weren't sure what exactly are we building our team around, right? There's a lot of options, and also you have to be careful because I know they're sitting there thinking, okay, they've already picked up the Leshrac, but do we really want them to have that Leshrac Storm combo? And the Bounty Hunter is what comes out of Isurus Gaming. This is scary. A lot of folks don't... You think of the Bounty Hunter as getting the opponent team a lot of kills and getting the gold lead, but the fact that it means that you can trade even and come out ahead by 2,000 gold in team fights is very, very rough. And with someone like Leshrac, who can just go around killing early, maybe he just teams up with the Bounty Hunter and kills people while your real carry gets farmed, or your Leshrac is your real carry.
Yeah, Bounty Hunter's like the kind of a... You've got a punch card, and it's like, okay, we win five team fights, we get one team fight for free, basically, in terms of gold. So, it can really get pretty ugly pretty fast. And if they're behind, they get so much more.
Yeah. Now, the anti-mage ban out, actually pretty sensible, and I would be a little bit sad. I was kind of expecting E-Wolves to try to get their hands on it, but of course Isurus is, both teams very experienced. Isurus immediately realizing that you don't want to play a Leshrac against an anti-mage. There comes a point where the anti-mage has the Manta, and yes, your Leshrac can try to AoE damage him down, but if he gets enough mana out of that Leshrac, he's a bomb that kills everybody on your team. The problem I see here is dealing with a Leshrac can be really hard, and yeah, I kind of expect E-Wolves to try to get their hands on the Wolverine still in hopes that they can lock him down that way, but I don't know. I don't think they'll get the Wolverine here because, yeah, we'll see what they do. They ban out the Huskar, and of course the Undying. The Undying's really powerful. He can decay, get a lot of those stacks up, he becomes nigh unkillable. The Tombstone is very powerful early game and can cause a lot of chaos. And the Huskar, just a very popular pick in the South American scene, and because of the prevalence of magic damage heroes, he can withstand a lot of that with his Berserker's Blood. But definitely now E-Wolves has to find a carry that can deal with Leshrac and deal with the fact that there's a bounty hunter running around. If you pick a weak carry, like maybe you're thinking, okay, we want a really hard carry so that we can go later than the Leshrac, Spectre's going to have a really rough time against a bounty hunter, and whoever else goes with him to gank. It's just so easy to harass that Spectre out. And your lanes are already going to be a little bit weaker because a tri-lane with Spirit Breaker isn't that great, and we expect the Spirit Breaker to be ganking Leshrac. Yeah. But if you pick someone who's maybe a bit tankier, usually they don't hit as hard. Other than the Sven, who has a pretty good time of it, I think a lot of the other tanky carries just don't hit super hard. So
yeah, but speaking of someone who does hit hard at least once in a while, it's going to be Tusk up for Elite Wolves. So going to get to see that. A nice way to kind of dodge that Shuriken coming out from Bounty, or just say, Leshrac, you can't stun us. But not exactly what I'd expect to see. They've already got the long-range initiation from Spirit Breaker. So I'm not really seeing them fit this very nicely, to be honest. That was a terrible sentence, I'm sorry.
It's really interesting that the Tusk, actually in a lot of other games, and it really depends, these teams know each other very well, so we do have some targeted bans, like the Dogs are coming out just because both of these teams use him so powerfully, but it's actually really weird to see Tusk not be a first-round ban or a first-round pick, and it just shows how much better these teams do with those other aggressive heroes. And the Dazzle coming out of Isurus, this is really standard, keeps your teammates alive. It's really nice against the Tusk, who's going to roll in and maybe shallow grave someone, they get punched up, you get the funny little Dazzle hat coming out from that shallow grave. But that can be nice. At the same time, if this is their offlaner, yeah, I feel like E-Wolves needs, I think they should just pick the Winter Wyvern here. I think she's going to be really great here. They've got a good amount of stuns now. Not the best, they could go for more. But I think that having that Winter Wyvern would strengthen that bottom lane where the Wyvern, or the safe lane, instead of Disruptor. And maybe that's just a block pick on the Clockwork, so that if Isurus wants to pick a Clockwork again, they're telling them you're going to have a really rough time, just like you did last game. But there's the additional value of the silences from the Static Storm, right? Silence and damage, but yeah, I'm just a little bit baffled that the Wyvern is not going to make it through this game by the looks of it, because both sides have 2 supports already.
10 seconds.
Yeah, remaining. Disruptor is going to be very nice here, especially because Bounty generally wants to walk right up and make things happen. He also wants to be able to chase, and Glimpse is going to do very well against those things. Also, Silence against Leshrac, pretty good.
Yeah, I really think it's also that ban pick for the kind of preemptive pick against the Clockwork, saying you can pick Clockwork, but you're going to be playing it into a Disruptor again. Good luck with those hooks, which is really nice. And then, as we mention every game, our options for offlaners are like Phoenix and Clockwork. We're not exactly swimming in offlaners this patch, and unless Isurus wants to run 2-1-2, which already doesn't seem to be something they can do since we generally run a roaming bounty hunter, they have to pick the Clock or the Phoenix. And Phoenix also doesn't do well against Disruptor with that Static Storm that can catch her out of position and that glimpsing her back into the Static Storm. So it gets really rough. Either they have to go for a more creative offlaner. Oh, and as I say that...
creative offlaner indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
A long time for Beastmaster, but
Yeah.
I actually think he's decent here. I guess
fallen
he's
out
been
of
picked
favor.
up. Yeah, Glimmer Capes, against him.
Well, it's the Ancients. The change to the Ancients where he can't infinitely stack them
10
with...
Wait, what?
remaining.
So because of the axes, the
5
direction that they
seconds
come from, the
remaining.
creeps try to walk up instead of out, so you can only stack them twice with axes. Now, of course, you can use the boar
Reserve
to always
time.
stack the Ancient successfully, but that means
Yeah.
you won't have a boar in lane because of the uptime, and the boar in lane is what helps you stay alive in that lane. So your choice is either miss out on stacking Ancients, or have the boar in lane, which will keep you alive. Additionally, he doesn't really have a great escape like a lot of other offlaners, and he doesn't have a creep positioner
Dire team
like Clockwork.
ban.
And the Clinks ban out, so I think E-Wolves themselves may be thinking of picking up that Phoenix.
Yeah,
Although I
they
thought
need a
Tusk
lot
was
of
their
physical
offlaner.
damage on
No,
Isurus.
I'm wrong. It can't be a Phoenix. I'm crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they need Spirit Breaker or Tusk in the offlane, otherwise they're gonna have a very interesting
No, it'll
game.
be
The
Tusk.
Ember
It has
getting
to-
banned.
Radiant
Yeah, it
team
could be a
pick.
support Tusk. Sorry, they have to pick their hard carry here, and
Yeah.
the Ember Spirit, because Isurus Gaming picking up that, hey, we don't want to have to deal with that again. He hit really hard
Definitely.
last game. I don't know if they could run. I'm trying to think of good things. I like Sven. I like Spectre, although I think she's a bit weak here. I'm trying to think of other.
They've got too much aggression to deal with Spectre on either side, really.
10
But you're talking
seconds
about on
remaining.
Isurus' side, right?
No, I was talking about
Okay.
E-Wolves
5
picking up the
seconds
Spectre.
remaining.
But I'm just trying to think of flexible stuff
Reserve
because, they
time.
could go the Wraith King themselves here. I think that would be nice, gets a stun,
10
outputs a lot of
seconds
damage.
remaining.
It's a bit hard against Glimmer Pony until he
5
gets,
seconds
by which I
remaining.
mean the Leshrac, and it's a Slog.
Dire
Okay,
team pick.
yeah. I can like that. Yeah, I'm just always, sometimes when I try to do the think of what carries there are that are currently good, drawing a bit of a blank beyond the obvious ones. But a Slog, a nice hero, is going to draw those stats. Now, Isurus, yeah, they also... Oh, Abaddon.
Okay.
Abaddon carry. This is exciting. And it's actually quite nice to pair. So let's just talk about little interactions here. He's supposed to...
Yeah,
Oh.
you've got a good way to kind of say, oh, you want to lock me down with Disruptor Hole? You want to just Spirit Breaker permabash me? You want to just pop your Slark ult and kill me? Not going to happen, because guess what? Those combos, I'm just going to heal.
Yeah, I'm going to let's introduce the teams, and then I'm going to talk about a few interesting things we might see this match. Some
Prepare.
Sounds
interesting
good.
interactions.
So on the side of Isurus, we will have the Abaddon, played by Algodon Shin, in the carry role. Pepita will be playing that mid Leshrac, starting off with the Null Talisman and 2 branches. We'll have Ari, this time on the Dazzle. He was under Lena last game. K&K will be playing that Bounty Hunter, headed off toward the mid, but eventually to roam about a bit. And Dolcemelia, going to level up the Beasts first, which he is indeed the master of, on the Beastmaster.
Yeah, Zendelin going out on that that Spirit Breaker. Now we've got Disruptor being played by FTD Jokes. Quap, heading kind of mid, not sure if she's going to be offlane or mid, played by Chinese characters who played their Ember Spirit mid last game. We've got Evils, Polyp, playing that Slog
30
who's
seconds to
making
battle.
sure to try to kill the boar, but instead it gets denied. And then finally, we've got Tusk being played by Annie. We've actually got Bounty Hunter behind the 3 heroes up here. And nice blow up of the shield, taking a lot of damage on that Disruptor, but Static Kinetic Field is going to catch them. They got a heal coming out, and it looks like...
Well, Queen of
I don't
Pain.
know if anyone-
Oh, she'll blink.
Yeah, that's actually a bit unfortunate. She has to skill the blink first.
The
I
Isurus
think
are getting
Tusk
a
might just
lot of
walk away.
damage here.
Begins.
Like,
Yeah.
even if they don't get the kill, all of the heroes on E-Wolves are at about 60% health or lower. So this automatically puts Isurus ahead in these lanes. Sure, you've got an Abaddon who's not at amazing levels of HP, but the way they've set this up, you've got Dazzle Abaddon. This hero should not die the entire game. Theoretically.
Well, so talking about the Abaddon, we've got an interesting interaction, and I'm actually just going to ask someone to listen. I'm just going to say, I'm pretty sure this is how it works, but people should feel free to correct me. So, Abaddon, if you use the Silver's Edge, which is a common item on Slok against Abaddon, his passive, which procs the borrowed time, will not go off. He will have to manually activate it. And
Oh
if
my
you
goodness.
silence him, it will not go off.
He
so
can't,
if they
yeah.
can catch the Abaddon under
No,
the Static Storm...
if you
and
silence
they
him, it'll
Silver
go
Edge
off, but you can't activate it manually. So if both of those happen...
If you silence him at... Oh my goodness, we already have...
I've caught that, so don't worry about it.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have talked over it, but yeah, if you can get him silver-edged and you get him under the Static Storm, Abaddon doesn't get to use his I Live Forever. So actually the Disruptor pick kind of accounted to that because of how big that Static Storm silence is. And it will take a while for the Silver's Edge to come online, but that's an interaction I'm excited to see. And another deny on his own boar coming out bottom.
We need to call the ASPCA about this, I think.
Yeah. Not being so good there. So Quap having a rough time middle, which we do expect. Glimmer Pony, Leshrac is what I call... He does a lot of damage. That Lightning Storm's just so powerful. And as we already mentioned, Quap, it's 15-second cooldown on that blink at level 1. You get one of those. And if you don't use it right, you're done. Yeah, and the Bounty Hunter just has to wait for it. And the Bounty Hunter's won the Sentry Wars mid. So he's having a great time.
Not to mention, if Quap does invest in another Sentry or something, they've got another Sentry on Bounty to deal with it. So they also do have a Sentry up on the top lane just in case, but without anybody in this off lane at the moment, it's not going to mean too much. Yep, as Annie will dive in here. He's going for the Courier with the Haste Rune. This is totally worth it. And this is usually the Bounty Hunter play.
I have feelings on what we just saw, but they're hard to express into words, so...
Balance? Was that one of them?
No.
Probably not.
This is just the thing where, you get a haste rune, and that's the play you want to make. You get the 2-minute haste rune, and you're like, maybe I can kill their courier, and it never works, right? You run through their tower, you get super low, you wasted a bunch of time, and the courier's not dead. But he actually got the courier! It's so exciting! I'm so happy to have seen this. Oh, I love success late in the night. Actually Abaddon a little bit of trouble, but of course he has that Aphotic Shield, so he doesn't care. And also...
and this is the strength, too. He can dive the tower. Whereas Tusk... he's tried to dive the tower and done it successfully, actually, but that's just because of a lucky rune.
Yeah, the other nice thing about Abaddon is
Mid lane, though, Papita is very low. He's trying to go after the Queen of Pain. They actually might find Zendros here, but the last right click from Zendros will finish him off.
He doesn't get the bash, but it still finishes him off.
Yeah, but see, the difference is, though, Isurus lose their mid. E-Wolves lose a support.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
it's a great trade for E-Wolves.
Yeah. It's fantastic, and it's fantastic as well that they got all of that experience. That's a lot of experience for the Spirit Breaker, just because he was the kind of roaming hero, so he was under the level of the mid, of course. So really great for them, and helping to tie up this mid lane. It's still gonna be, actually, the Quap is a little bit ahead. I was expecting Papita on Leshrac to be doing much better.
No, he's ahead.
His character's Quap has caught up, so...
I mean,
it's even. I was expecting him to be ahead after that first blood.
7 CS, though. Difference. Yeah. FTD is going to go down here on that Disruptor. As K&K will get the kill, but will take a lot of damage in the process, and they have dusted him up to take him out. Slark even coming in for the kill, but now Papita dishing out some damage. It's not quite enough yet. He does get it with the Lightning Bolt with that extremely long range, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, the Lightning Storm, its AoE area is huge, and he got a beautiful 2-man split earth on Leshrac. It's actually somewhat difficult to do that. Of course, these players are all really great, but it does have a very long cost, so it's really cool that they got that off, and it led to killing the Slark, which is what they wanted there. Another cool thing to mention about Abaddon is you can deny yourself with that Mist Coil, but again, that requires very nice timing. And I imagine at this level they're good at it, but I don't know how many of these players have played Abaddon at this level since he hasn't been a popular support for a while. So I'm excited to see the denies, but not expecting them. We've got some pinging on mid, so I'm wondering, okay, we just got Annie running through the middle tower, doing a roll in. We're going to take a lot of damage herself, but I think Annie's going down. Split off hit. Quap now needs to get the hell out of dodge. Actually still trying to go in. Oh, and here comes the charge, a little bit too late. 4 heroes middle, and I think another going to go down. Split off the mark. Yeah, and top tower already down. I missed that watching this fight up middle, but wow. That was action-packed, and Abaddon, just having a great time up top, has finally picked up his ult, and so now we'll get to see that kind of unkillable Abaddon, at least until the Silver's Edge comes out.
Yeah, and Slark, in the meantime, is only on treads right now, not going for a Hand of Midas or Shadow Blade just yet, unless... Yeah, nothing's sitting on the Courier, so... And Slark is a little behind him, but of course Abaddon's had a bit of an easier lane, especially with how aggressive Annie's been rotating toward mid. I will say that Annie has been completely fearless in these matches. Just like, I'm gonna get the kill.
Perhaps to Annie's detriment, as sitting at the 3rd lowest net worth, despite getting that courier. But we see, again, they're running for a gank on Annie, and now they've got the haste rune advantage. Annie's definitely going to go down here. Going to try to juke it into the trees a bit, probably waste some time in the snowball. Yep, popping into the snowball, taking as long as they can. Nobody's TPing, though. They're focused on trying to work on this bottom tower, so... Yeah,
they're going to get some space out of this for sure. As, well, we will have Bounty Hunter on Zindrels here, who is not in the best situation. He'll smoke, he'll dust up, though, and he is going to fall, but K&K going down to the Slark. So, again, a big kill picked up for the Slark, and that's what they need this game.
But the Bounty Hunter getting the kill solo, really unfortunate for E-Wolves. And actually, Isurus is still pushing this top tower. Dazzle and Abaddon, really great pushing power.
Now, Bounty didn't get XP for that, though, because he died beforehand. So, it's not quite as big, but it is still a good chunk of gold. Sorry, I don't mean to discount what you said here.
Bounty Hunter got the kill first. Bounty Hunter killed Spirit Breaker before they killed Bounty Hunter. You can check the chat.
Oh, okay, yes, you're right. I was mixed up.
And that's what put him halfway to level 6, so he's almost there. Now, something we also forgot to mention, Abaddon has this passive, the Curse of Avernus, which means that anybody, oh, that's the other fun interaction I wanted to mention. So Curse of Avernus works such that whoever you're attacking, Abaddon is attacking, if you also attack the same person, you get an attack speed buff and a movement speed buff for attacking them. But Beastmaster has a passive called Inner Beast, which allows him to increase the attack speed of all allies in an AoE. They're gonna hit really fast.
It's not allows him, it will increase the attack speed whether you want to or not. And,
it's just really great. It's nice synergy, and this Abaddon, who I was a bit worried, you worry about him becoming a carry, especially since he is a strength hero, he's not an agi hero, and you always worry a bit you're gonna have to pick up one of those attack speed items or something. But Abaddon, Curse of Avernus plus Inner Beast, these guys are gonna be hitting hard.
Yeah, and if he picks up any attack speed at all, it's gonna make a huge difference. So Leshrac getting some farm in the jungle right now. Pepita is sitting on mana boots at the moment, but not doing quite as well as you would expect out of him. Well, I take that back. I was thinking it was later in the game for some reason.
He's in the just because we've had a lot of action, I think. Yeah. He's in the top net worth, and he's definitely performing well, but at the same time, as mentioned, he and Quap did kind of trade it. He's ahead of the Quap, but, she's going to be able to catch, or they're going to both farm equally. If they manage to get that bottom tower, it's going to help out the Quap's net worth. And yeah, it's one of those things where both sides, Tusk's looking to try and go on mid, but I don't think he's going to get anything done. There's also the charge coming out, and they throw out the Shadow Strike. They want to dive this. They do snowball in, but 2 TPs immediately. They'll kill the Leshrac, but I think both of them are going to go down. Actually, just one because they've split up. Spirit Breaker just running through the tower. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to make the supports not come over. Tracks up from the Bounty, and Curse of Avernus slowing and making him take so much damage. And then there's that Axes. And the Scream on Disruptor.
Yeah, the Shuriken being able to take him down, and that was 2 tracked kills going the way of Isurus, and they're ahead, but they want to get just a little bit further ahead.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where that's a 1,000 gold swing, so really nice. Now, something else to mention, Beastmaster's axes are physical damage, and this is important because against Glimmer Pony, you want to generally go a BKB just so that you can stand up to that Pulse Nova and, the Lightning Storm, the Split Earth, and so on.
But Beastmaster's just kind of like, okay, nice BKB.
Yeah, and also Edict is physical damage, and then Bounty Hunter, and of course, they're going to have good minus armor coming out of Isurus.
I don't think Edict is that much of a big deal. It's just more a big deal against towers, though. And just pushing in general, so...
It can do a lot of damage in a team fight if you manage to get one with no creeps around, just because it is going to hit whatever target is closest. So it is a nice way to chase people down. It's not taken early these days just because of how powerful the Lightning Storm is and the fact that you really want that stun. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a pain because even with stuff like a BKB, where against something like a Gyro, you can get a BKB early and you take almost no damage because it's all magical. But they've got a nice split on Isurus' team, so they're going to have to be very careful. And they're charging the illusion. They know it's...
they're going to kill this illusion now.
Yeah, that illusion is dead.
It's more to deny vision from them, but that's a tough thing to do against Bounty, as now they do place down a sentry. He's got to be careful.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
It's a
attack.
bit in the danger zone, but...
He'll hide in the trees, and he should be okay now.
And Pepita getting a nice stun up, but actually he's being charged, and they're gonna land the charge.
Oh, but
Auto-Beast
Beastmaster-
coming in, Sonic Wave. He's
Oh, dear.
Glimpse back, but he puts him in the snowball, and now Beastmaster might be taking a tumble, and the snowball to wherever the glimpse was.
Yeah!
Spirit Breaker falling, Beastmaster actually just walking away just fine. So interesting interaction. Oh, and actually Disruptor still in trouble because of a bonus, just making that easy to chase.
And Abaddon's got Vlad's here as well, which is going to give him a bit more armor, which is something that he does lack, being a strength carry. And Queen of Pain, she's been spotted out, she's tracked up. She'll get the blink away, but this is just going to buy them time. Hold on, the courier's coming. They should see this. Queen of Pain might be able to take it down. That is the medallion coming on the courier.
Yeah,
and
actually
yeah, they'll
go
get
for
it.
the easier Dazzle kill. They should be able to get this. Dazzle's gonna waste as much time as possible with that.
Yeah, he's not gonna spin the wand. Okay.
Shallow Grave. But yeah, Curse of a bonus also slows. It also debuffs your opponent's attack speed. And again, a fight that was really in favor of Isurus Gaming. They're starting to pull ahead in this net worth chart. Pop trying to go in, throwing that Shadow Strike. But this is the Abaddon with the borrowed time. So you have to be very careful. And it's not something you can get rid of before that Silver Edge. Oh, and they're regoosing. There's the regoose. Abaddon going in, no fear, knowing he's got 2 lives basically, and that ends up just chilling out the engagement. So things calming down finally a little bit. But again, we've got a kill with almost a game with almost 2 kills a minute. So
more than 2 kills a minute. Just kidding.
Oh no,
I can't count.
It's okay. Happens to the best of us. But yeah, so
Slark does have a Shadow Blade though, so only about 2400-ish on the Silver Edge, if I'm doing my math correctly, which I'm probably not, because as we just said, I can't count.
yeah, it's something where he will have to build up to it. He'll probably actually build the Sange and Yasha before building it. It's pretty common. The other thing that is nice is he can probably pick off the Dazzle with this, catching him out unawares with the Shadow Blade. But it's really hard to get anybody else.
But they want to pick off Papita. With the Spirit Breaker charge, they can really surprise them. So Spirit Breaker going to come out of nowhere. They are near the tower, but no TPs are coming in, and I don't think they're going to. Papita, he'll fall. And Slark showing off his new toy in a big way.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's nice to be able to get those pickoffs, but at the same time, they're losing their mid tower, and there's not much they can do about it. They don't have Glyph, and again, like Curse of Gods, they actually decide to snowball in on the Dazzle who's being charged, but I think going in far too far.
Oh, but it's gonna work. They'll throw down a Disruptor ult as well, and they'll be able to hold them in place. Alright, only barely got that Grave Buff, but Algodoncian, he's on the back lines, the shield will pop, and it'll blow them up, and he is just chasing in here. Even Slark can't keep up at this point.
Yeah, I think the plan there is Algodonchan is just gonna go in and just kill things, and then everybody's ignoring him. You've noticed that E-Wolves hasn't actually tried to take him down at all this game. I think they're realizing we don't even want to bother dealing with that and having Isurus, the rest of Isurus, come around him and kill everyone. But yeah, it's rough. You're letting him just sit there and attack everyone. He's killing off your supports while you do that.
Yeah, indeed. And Beastmaster will pick up the Necronomicon right now. So, is looking to push and try to end this game kind of early. Because there is a point where Abaddon, if you kill him, or if you try to kill him and then you pop his ult, you can probably just say, okay, we'll heal him right back up to full, and then as soon as the ult's over, we'll just finish him off. Because if you can heal him back to full in 4 seconds, chances are you can kill him in 4 seconds too.
Yeah, and Isurus gonna pick up that early Roche. It's really easy with the Medallion and the Abaddon. I don't know if the Beastmaster Necrobooks are so much for early push. Oh, actually, we've got Slog taking a peek in, and his Shadow Blade is gonna run out before he can do anything. He's actually taking a bit of damage from the heal. He needs to get out of dodge, but he's in a lot of trouble. He's trying to chase down the Dazzle, but taking so much damage. He needs to use that Shadow Dance. He does.
Yep.
It's on the backline, the Glimmer Pony taking a lot as well, but now she's turning around. She's got the Shallow Grave. They managed to catch out the Bounty Hunter with that Static Storm, but nobody's dead on the side of Isurus, and all the ults that have been used from E-Wolves, they're gonna fall.
Yeah, and they'll take down 3 right now. Queen of Pain forced to blink away, and they're just going to say, okay, we'll take our Roche, which is rightfully ours. There's a Sange and Yasha done at any moment on the Abaddon, as Beastmaster will actually pick up a Necro 2, and then actually fly it out as well. They'll have an Aegis up on Leshrac, who is just about 900-ish away from the Bloodstone, if I'm mathing correctly.
Yeah, and actually Quap in a bit of trouble here. She does have a blink, but she's gonna get chased. And they have track, so deciding not to chase. Now, something I want to mention is Beastmaster, generally the build that you go, Beastmaster is another one of those heroes with a bit of an inflexible build early on. It's just so nice to have the Necro Creeps with that buff of the Inner Beast.
But also charge is coming out. Oh. Actually, they had a perfectly placed ward here, which I don't think Zendrill's realized, but he stopped charging right under it. Sorry to interrupt you there, Llama.
Oh. Yeah, actually the Slulk is about to go down bottom, so...
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. No mana to work with. He even turned on his treads to... but he finds a juke spot. Yeah, they do know, and they'll roar him and just take him on down. Not that they really needed to do that even, because he just didn't have enough mana.
So, the Beastmaster doesn't have a whole heap of options as the first two items he goes. You generally go some form of boots, you go the Soul Ring so that you can cast those wild axes and all of your other spells more, but then you generally always go the Blink and the Necro Book, just because the creeps are already really good, Necro Book creeps, like, especially if you have other attack speed buffs, because they have some of the lowest, I think it's like, they have the lowest attack animation or something, so they can have the most attack speed. But yeah, they can just take down these buildings early. Oh, Pop just Sonic Waving for the fun of it, but she does have the Ags. But yeah, the Blink is also really nice to have as a positioning tool to land really powerful Primal Roars. And the really good Primal Roars are the ones where not only do you reposition someone else, Pop just trying to do a bit of damage to the Baden, but you can, with that shift from the Primal Roar, where it pushes people sideways, you can break up a team.
Yeah, Disruptor gonna try to make it out here. He has to get to the high ground quickly. He'll glimpse slash back and then TP away. So very nice play by him. For some reason, Slark is in here though, and they're gonna spot him out. He should realize they have wards now, but he will leap away, and it looks like he won't have to use that ult just now.
Yeah, and a really nice play there. So yeah, the Slark saving up money. It could be for that full Sanj, but yeah. That's kind of the fun thing about Beastmaster. You always go Necro Books. It looks like he's going to get that first before the Blink, and I don't see anything wrong with that. They have a lot of other positioning tools with the track and the fact that Glimmer Pony can just run at people, so they're not so worried.
Yeah, we will see Beastmaster picking up the Necronomicon right now, level 3, actually. So that's going to be a big difference maker. Nice blink away from Quap. They lose the tower nonetheless, and excuse me, Abaddon. He's becoming more, and we talked about attack speed. There's an Archer R that gives him 9% more attack speed, in case he didn't have enough, you know.
Yeah, that's part of why you go the Necro Books. It's just, you get all these attack speed buffs, and you're hitting hard. They might just take a Rax uncontested. They would have to make a mistake in this team fight. They get split off on 2, and now Pop's in there. She's trying to do something, but she doesn't have the ult for a while, and she actually has to blink back, kind of still in a dangerous position, and no blink for a while. 3 seconds, 2, 1, is she gonna die beforehand? She does blink back over.
Zendrill's is gonna be the kill.
And nobody's dead on the side of Isurus.
I mean, Isurus have gotten away with a very clean draft here, a very clean game as well, and it looks like they've already got this game in the bag. If you can't kill Abaddon easily in the early game, once he gets a few more items, he will seriously become immortal. Not to mention you've got a Leshrac with an Aegis and 11 Bloodstone charges. You've got a Beastmaster who's been able to do tons of stuff. Dazzle, I mean, he's got 2,800 gold in the bank. Okay. When a Dazzle has 2,800 gold in the bank and he's not been farming, things are not going well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that gold just comes from Rax, gives you a lot of gold. Slark actually heading to the secret shop. I want to see what he's gonna go Scotty. He's not even going for the Silver Edge. I think that makes sense. He does need to tank up and the Scotty will help.
He's got to here. If he can slow them down, he can maybe find a pickoff. If he has a Silver Edge, he's got one shot at killing Abaddon, assuming that they also commit the Disruptor roll, and Abaddon is already on relatively low health, which has not been happening at all. I mean...
Yeah, the other thing to mention is that if this game goes super late, I don't actually know how that turns out. I don't have much experience with Abaddon carry. I imagine he'll be pretty dang strong, especially since Borrowed Time's cooldown gets pretty low. But I think that if it goes super late, Slot has a chance because Slot can get... Oh, he's getting picked off right here. There's the Blink. There's the Primal Roar. No time to use his Shadow Dance or the Shadow Blade.
And I'm sorry I missed that one. I should not have missed that one, but yeah.
But yeah, there's that Blink coming up because he already has Necrobook 3. They're going for another Rax, but I think if they can stall out the game, E-Wolves maybe has a chance. But it's not looking like they have a chance to stall out the game, right? We're 21 minutes in, a Rax down, probably a second Rax down at this point. What's Quap gonna do? Scream at the creeps, and he does manage to TP back, but they're already pushing that tower, and look at how quickly it falls with all of that attack speed.
I mean...
sitting in hollow. And they don't have a glyph because the Lost Push came so soon.
Abaddon now has a Deso just in case they don't break base right now. Not even worried about buyback. At all.
And they're not even really putting up a defense.
GG's called, yeah. It's going to be 1-1, so it'll come down to game number 3 as the team fight will break out, but to be honest, since they already called GG, I'm not going to bother to cast it. That may be the lazy way out, but either way. We're going to go to game number 3 here, Llama. Any final thoughts on this one?
It was a bit disappointing, but definitely a well-executed draft from Isurus. I think they basically just got to pick exactly the heroes they wanted, and taking advantage of that rolled the game. Also, the Spirit Breaker didn't do as much work as maybe they would have hoped, but I really think it just came down to Isurus picked a team that could push super early, and push they did.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll be going over to game number 2. Or 3. Wow. Ever since I said I can't count, Llama, it's just falling apart.
It happens. Sometimes we lose these innate abilities. It's like when sometimes I'm talking about Doxia, but I keep saying Disruptor.
Yeah.
All of these things. But yeah, the lobby's up, and so we will be going to a game 3. I'm hoping this game 3 is more like game 1 and that it's very teamfight oriented. But both of these teams in their drafts have been banning out team fighters, and I understand they're both teams that are very strong at team fighting. At the same time, as a viewer and a caster, I would much rather see these team fight lineups, so I'm kind of hoping they let them slip through.
It'd be much more exciting for sure, but the game has been definitely interesting today, so hopefully it'll stay that way as players are loading in right now. We'll be right back with game number 3. Of course, I'm SP Revolution 5, joined by Llama down under here on Truesight TV, casting on KOD League.